Risk. I told you hazard is a danger. It has a potential to harm someone or can damage anything unless and until there is a phenomenon I told you, unless and until that phenomenon triggers. So that is risk. Risk is basically when it comes to your mind, there is always a negative perception. So if I ask you what is risk, is this good? Most of you may say risk is not good. However, it's not true. So risk is uncertainty. It is something which may happen or may not happen. It's not certain. There is chances 50-50, 30, 70, 80, 20. There are chances. It depends on the situation. So it may happen or may not happen. But if it happens, it has some consequences. So as I told you, risk is not always negative. It does not have always negative impact. The impact can be, the result can be positive as well. That's why when entrepreneurs take risk, they make money. The organization maybe becomes successful. So usually the leaders, teachers, or they preach, take risk. The reason is because the consequence can be negative as well as positive. So what is negative consequence of risk? It's called threat. And the positive consequence or result of risk is called opportunity. So all of you being leaders, being managers, being professionals must learn the techniques how to convert the weaknesses into opportunities or the threats into opportunities. So this is how you can learn, grow every single day and try to improve the situation in your organization. Now risk mathematically has a formula. Risk is likelihood into severity. So it's the product of likelihood into severity. What is likelihood? Likelihood is basically probability or frequency of consequence. If there is a danger, then what are the chances of exposure to that danger? That chances of exposure is called as likelihood. So the probability, the chances of frequency to get exposed to any hazard is called as likelihood. It can be low, it can be mid or high. However, there is the term severity as well. So it's a product of likelihood and severity. So likelihood is the chances or the probability of getting exposed to a hazard. But what is severity? So severity, as by its name, simply defined as the level of impact or consequence. It can be minor, moderate or severe. So if the chances of getting exposed to any hazard is low and the severity or the outcome of that hazard is minor, it means it's a very low risk activity. But if the likelihood of getting exposed to that hazard is very high and the severity is severe, so it's a very high risk activity. This is how risk is defined and this is how risk is being measured or assessed or evaluated. So this is a simple formula. Since we are not going into too much detail, this is just the fundamentals of occupational health and safety. For the time being, you just keep in your mind the formula, the basic definition and formula of risk. Likelihood into severity. Likelihood is just a chance or probability or frequency of any consequence when someone get exposed to a hazard, and then the nature of that hazard. What can be the result of that hazard? It's the impact, the level of impact or the result or the harm or the damage could be minor, moderate or severe. So just keep this in mind. This is just unforeseen situation. It's uncertain. It may happen or may not happen. That's why it's risk. But if it happens, it has two results, two consequences, either positive or negative. The negative outcome is called as threat. The positive outcome is called as opportunity. So you as professional should assess the risk when we go to the advanced level of occupational health and safety trainings. You learn how to assess the risk, how to evaluate the risk, how to apply control measures and ensure that the workplace is safe. So this is not going to be discussed today, but just for the time being, just understand the basic concept of risk.